In my opinion, there's no better way to gain understanding about the foundations of rhythmical theory than to learn how the rhythmical notation system works. I think that if you were to set several people to design a system that describes rhythm, I think most of them will probably end up with something that's quite similar to what we're using today. So the most foundational unit of rhythmical notation and theory is the beat. And the beat is often what we perceive as the speed of a song. It's generally what we dance to, for example. And the beat in rhythmical notation is referred to as quarter notes. And these are notated by first indicating which note is going to be played. In this case, we see that this is the open 6th string on a guitar. And then you add a vertical line downwards that is called the note stem. So what we see here is 4 quarter notes. A song can have a lot of beats, hundreds of them. So instead of talking about playing 400 or 500 beats, songs are being described as having parts that have a certain amount of bars. So beats are divided into bars. And how many beats there is in a bar is indicated what we call the time signature. So in this bar, there is room for 4 quarter notes, and we have 4 quarter notes here. So the bar is full, and if we listen to it, we hear that it plays. So, and if I were to change this to 3 quarters, there is 1 quarter note too much, and the software will warn me about that. So in order to make it play properly, I will have to remove 1 quarter note. So, and this applies to all the things we are then deriving from the beat, because in order to construct rhythms, what we do is we divide the beat. We create subdivisions. So what we do is we divide the length of the beat with whole numbers. So if we divide the beat by 2, if we divide a quarter note by 2, we get an 8th note. And they look like this. You see they also have the same principle, a note, and then there's a note stem. And then they are connected by what we call a beam, a note beam. So this is an 8-note beam. And you see that the first note on the beam corresponds to the basic beat. So these are 8-note subdivisions by 2. We can then continue and divide the subdivisions by 2. So we get two subdivisions of the 8-note subdivision, which will give us 16th notes. So what you see here, you will see that also here you have these are the 16-note beams. You see they are two lines. And the start of the beam will correspond to the beat. And if we add yet another beam, so we have 3 lines here, we have divided it by we have divided this 16 note by 2, so we have divided the beat by 32, and we get what we call 32nd notes, and things are getting pretty fast there. So very seldom you see something more faster subdivisions than 32nd notes. And so far we have only used divisions by even numbers, whole numbers of the subdivisions. We can also divide by odd numbers, and we then get what we call tuplets. And if we divide by 3, we get something called a triplet. And this one is it's the same thing. You get the beam, and the start of the beam corresponds to the beat. And in the same way, you will get divided by 5 is called quintuplets. It will say 5 here instead, and so on, septuplets, and so on and so on. So if you listen to this, you will hear that the 8 notes sounds. You got the beat, 2, 3, and we then get 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And if we add the 16 notes, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, and so on. And from this, we can create rhythm by simply removing parts of the subdivision, and we do that by adding pauses. So if I were to take this note and rather make it a rest here, you see that you get this note. This is a 8-note rest, and it says that here we're going to be silent at the length of an 8-note. And when the beam is broken, the first note here will be has a note stem with a flag on instead. And so an 8-note will have a 1 flag. If we do it to a 16-note, you get 2 flags, and these are the symbols of 16-note pauses. And in the same way, if triplets, you see that this triplet is an 8-note triplet, since it has only one beam, so it will get an 8-note pause here, for example, and so on. So we're going to create a 8-note based rhythm here. So instead of having the 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, we're going to get something that's a little bit more interesting, hopefully. We put a rest there, and we put the rest, let's say, here. So what we will get is this. So I missed the rest I was to put there, so I'm adding it there. So let's take a listen to a 16-note based rhythm. We put a rest, let's say we put it there, and we put it there, and then we want 2 rests here and 1 there. What we get is so, and but what if I think that this rhythm is a bit stiff, and I want the rhythm, but I want it to a little bit more flow? Then perhaps I don't want silence here, but I still don't want something to be played. Let's say I want this note to be longer. Instead of then using the a pause, we use a tie instead. And what this does, it has the same function, but function as a pause. There's only going to be 1 note played here and nothing there, but this one is going to ring over the time of this note. So what you're doing with a tie is you simply, that's sort of a musical plus sign where you add the length of notes to each other. So we add a couple of ties in this rhythm here. So let's add a tie here as well. So what we get instead will be So, and actually, that is all there is to it. You get different subdivisions and you create rhythms by adding pauses or ties, and they are all then connected down to what we call the beat of the song.